So, obviously, a great result for West Ham. Finally, a home win, right? Gutted I didn't go. Desperately needed to win that game. It's just great to get some confidence going into the international break and getting some confidence into our key players. You know, as we know, have not been performing very well. Kudus, Paqueta, Antonio, and Bowen. You know, all four of them scored. You know, you can't ask for better than that. I mean, look, you know, how rare is it that we get scorelines like that in favour of West Ham? It just doesn't really happen that often, and obviously that makes it even more special. Look, I get it's Ipswich, I understand, but I think we made them look bad. You know, I just think we came out with the right tactics. And I think we actually showed a bit of belief, and I think that's so important. You know, we've been caught sleeping a lot recently from, you know, kick-off or dead ball situations. And, you know, it felt nice to finally get an early goal for a change, just settle in a little bit, settle down. But, I mean, of course, you know, it's West Ham, right? You know, we still conceded an early goal. But, look, it's not as bad as being 1-0 down that early. That just takes all the wind out of the sails. And I think that, you know, being 1-1 still gave us that, you know, that little bit of kick on to go and do something. You know, and obviously, you know, that was right. You know, for the final scoreline, it is a bit gutting to give the momentum that we gained back so quick. But you know, that just sort of is how it is. You know, we still showed a good amount of guts to keep kicking on. You know, it's you could sort of see as soon as Paqueta started getting a little bit of success. And by the way, I don't think he had the greatest of games still, but when he started getting a little bit of success, you could just see the weight come off his shoulders. And I think that was it's so important for a player like him to go in with confidence. You know, because he does give the ball away a lot. He is a bit of a flair player. You know, he can be a little bit, you know, dangerous in a possession-based, you know, system if you get caught sleeping in the middle of the park like we have done. But I think with a little bit of confidence, he can unlock the opposition defence for us, right? And I think we really, really need that bit of creativity up front. We're not getting it from anywhere else. So it's really, really important that he's on fire for us, you know. International break is a little bit of it's a little disappointing, obviously. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest with you. But I think that any more time that we can have on that training pitch is going to do us the world of good. And I think Bowen not being called up is probably a blessing in disguise. More time with Bowen, you know, less time for potential injuries and stuff like that. It's always a bad time. You know, the defence, they're starting to look really good now. You know, integrated Todibo in a really good way. Really, really pleased with that partnership in the middle of the defence there. Long may that continue. I reckon Todibo was probably even my man of the match on Saturday. You know, closely followed, I reckon, by Bowen or even Souček. I thought he had a really, really good game. So, I think also one of the things that was actually quite nice, I think the way that we set up, was that it was probably the first game, I don't want to say all season, but it was one of the first games in a good bit that we've not had to make some pretty drastic corrective subs pretty early. So that shows me that, you know, we sort of went out there with the right mindset and the right tactics, and we saw that through, and that led us to do some more positive subs, right? So, like, you know, even Guilherme got to come on late, which was just going to do so much for his confidence. And, like, you know, we're not in need of a right winger right now, yeah, obviously, but if we start losing Kudus or something like that next season, you know, then Guilherme is going to be a great asset to have if we can get him kicking on and get him some game time. So I guess to talk about that early goal from Ipswich, because you've got to talk about that a little bit. I think, actually, contrary to what people were thinking, I reckon Delap actually took that really well. Now, I was a goalkeeper as a boy. I was a goalkeeper, and I was always told never get beaten on your near post, right? It's the height of embarrassment for a goalkeeper. But do you know what? I think it came at him, and I don't think he was expecting it. Yes, he was positionally not great there, but I don't think you can take that away from Delap. I think that was actually a good goal. Now, the problem I think there is what other people are calling out is that I think Paqueta was way too easy to shrug off there. And I think we need to see more of Paqueta's aggressiveness like he used to be. Not getting so many yellow cards, but a bit more aggressive than that, because I mean that was pretty shoddy defence there, I think. With the defence that we've got at the moment, I reckon that might leave us the weakest at left back now. I really like Emerson, but I have a funny feeling that, do you know what, if that Paqueta partnership isn't firing, Emerson can look quite average at times, and I'm mildly concerned about that over on that left-hand side. But I think we've seen some really positive things from Wan-Bissaka. That he can cover out there. We can get so foul over on the right again, but I don't know. It's good to have options though, and as I say, I think the defence is still doing really well. So I'm not going to put too much emphasis on that. But one thing I would say, actually, this game, from what I saw coming down the wings up the front, I actually thought this would have been the perfect game for Füllkrug. We start getting balls into the centre of the box, cutting back from the byline and crossing in, especially with Kudus on the left, because you can't really shoot from the left because obviously it sort of nullifies his left foot a little bit. There was a couple of times there where you could have done with Somerville, using the right foot and curling that through, the sort of trademark goal that he would do last season, right? So there's a couple of times I think that, I wish that, Kudus was Somerville, in those moments. But equally, if we've got Kudus over there crossing that over, wouldn't that be great to have Füllkrug in the middle there, especially if he's doing another one of those Rabonas?